Is Colin on? Let me see.
That was.
Okay.
We'll keep an eye out for him.
All right, thank you.
We're live and Colin just jumped in.
Oh, okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Education Business Meeting, the annual organization meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. Time is now 7:02. With me this evening, I have board members Howard White, Ashley Goulias, Janine Randolph, Shara Bakey, Sherry McCready Pritchett, Mary Ellen Flaherty Ludwig, Jasmine Presley, and online we have Colin Hoskell. We also have Dr. Alexandra Estrella and her cabinet and team members here with us this evening. We could all stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Sorry. Okay, next couple of items on the agenda is annual organization of the executive committee and nomination elections of officers. I need a nomination for chair for this evening. Chair moving forward. Janine?
It would be my great honor to nominate Diana Carpio for chairperson of the Norwalk Board of Education. With 5 years of dedicated service on the board, Diana has consistently demonstrated exceptional leadership, commitment, vision, and an unwavering success of our students, families, and educators. Throughout her tenure, Diana has been a steadfast advocate for equity in education, working for every child, regardless of background, to have access to the tools and opportunities they need to thrive. Her collaborative approach is one of her greatest strengths and has brought diverse voices together. Working with the superintendent and her team, she has fostered innovative solutions to the challenges of our district. Diana's involvement in the Norwalk community and deep understanding of Norwalk's educational needs make her the ideal choice to continue to lead our board. With her experience and vision, I am confident we will continue to make meaningful strides toward excellence in education for all. Thank you.
Second nomination.
I would like to second the nomination of Diane Carpio. In the few years that I've gotten to know Diana, she has shown me what it means to be a true volunteer in this community. Everywhere I look, if we're gathering food, Diana is heading it up, right? We have it at the Family Center. If we're getting books together and in any sort of way to volunteer to help make Norwalk, adults and children and just Norwalk be a better place. This is Diana. I respect her leadership and I second her nomination.
Thank you. Any other nomination? Any other nomination? Any other nomination? I drew a blank there. I'm sorry. All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. With that, I am very humbled. I am very blessed and thank you for believing in my leadership. And I look forward to leading this wonderful group of individuals and my colleagues because we all, it takes a village and we all respect each other. And we all have different opinions, but we all get together for the children. Thank you. I need a nomination for vice chair. Ashley?
Thank you. It is my honor to nominate Sherry McCready Pritchett to remain in the role of vice chair for the upcoming year. Sherry's commitment to this Board of Education and Norwalk Public Schools is unwavering. She never forgets that our mission is always to put the needs of the students we serve first, and in her leadership role, she keeps all of us grounded in this purpose. Sherry maintains the highest level of professionalism, asks incredibly thoughtful questions when clarity is needed, and I look forward to another year of her steadfast leadership in the role of Vice Chair of the Norwalk Public Schools Board.
Second nomination? Jasmine?
Nomination. So I second the nomination for Vice Chair for Sherry Creedy Pritchett. I am new to the board, but as being new to the board, I am being mentored by her, and I think that is going above and beyond her role as a vice chair. And as we serving under her leadership, I am learning that she pays attention to the details, and she cares about the youth here in Norwalk Public Schools and also speaking to her experience as serving in the community, also all of her years here on the board. I second the nomination for her to continue her role as vice chair.
Thank you. Any other nomination? Any other nomination? Any other nomination? Okay, with none, all in favor, please say aye, raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Colin. That's also. And. Go ahead.
So I just want to thank all of you for supporting me. I really appreciate those kind words. And I'm humbled to be able to serve you all and the community. I really love this role. And I look forward to continuing to work collaboratively with you all and the administration and serving our community. Thank you.
And our next seat is Secretary of the Board of Education. Any nomination?
I'm going to nominate Kara. Good evening, everyone. I am proud to nominate my colleague, Kara Nelson Bakey, as Secretary to the Board of Education. A 22-year resident of Norwalk, Kara put her 2 children through Norwalk Public Schools. She is a true public servant. Kara noted her interest in running for the board stemmed from her activism in gun violence prevention. And she said to me, and I quote, "It continues to be something I remain passionate about, especially when it comes to keeping our students, staff, and community safe." Kara has served honorably for 3 years on the Board of Education in an at-large capacity. And Kara and I came on the board together. And in that time, I've gotten to know her up close, and she is the utmost professional. She's compassionate, and she loves this work. She currently serves as secretary of the board. She serves as chair of the facilities committee, and she also serves on the finance, personnel, and human relations and ad hoc inclusion and educational justice committees, as well as the safety and security task force. I know Kara is grateful for the opportunity to continue to serve the Norwalk community for this last year of her term, and I know she's honored to continue to serve as secretary for another year.
Second nomination? Howard?
Yes, I second nomination for Kara. Take this opportunity to say thank you for everything you have done, everything you continue to do. Your strive, your effort, your devotion, your ability to strive us and keep us straight, truly appreciate it. So I definitely take this opportunity to second that and say good luck in everything you continue.
Oh, yes, any nomination? Any nomination, any other nomination? Okay, with none, please raise your hand, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, unanimous. Okay.
And thank you, everybody, and Sherry and Howard, thank you very much for your amazing words and endorsements. And I too am humbled and very proud to be a part of our Board of Education. These last 3 years have been incredible. And I look forward to serving with all of you and all of you for this next year as secretary. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Great. So now I'm turning the meeting over to Kara for a spotlight for the evening.
Ashley is actually going to read our first spotlight of the evening.
Thank you. The Norwalk Board of Education is proud to recognize November as National Native American Heritage Month. National Native American Heritage Month is a time to celebrate the rich and diverse cultures, traditions, and histories of Indigenous and First Nation people. It is also an opportunity to raise awareness about the unique challenges they have faced. This year's national theme, as designated by Indian Affairs under the U.S. Department of the Interior, is Weaving Together Our Past, Present, and Future. The focus is on the failed policies of the past with a focus on the federal Indian boarding schools and moving into the present and the work being done to address the intergenerational trauma Native people still face. In partnership with the National Endowment for the Humanities and the Smithsonian Institution, Indian Affairs is working to record the lasting impacts of that era and share that information with all Americans. Early on, it was believed that the name Norwalk came from North Walk, a day's walk to the northern edge of the land purchased from the Native Americans. According to the Norwalk Historical Society, maps from the 17th century show reference to the Merrimacs, Indigenous people who lived in the area, and labeled the area as Norwalke, meaning point of land. At the time of English settlement, it is thought that there were between 200 and 300 Indigenous people living in the area. On February 26, 1640, Roger Ludlow entered into a treaty with Chief Mahakamo of the small Norwalk tribe of Siwanoy and purchased all lands lying between the Saugatuck and Norwalk rivers to the middle of said rivers and from the sea a day's walk into the country. In subsequent years, many Indigenous people became enslaved, indentured servants, or were forced to move from the area. Since 1990, Congress has authorized an annual presidential proclamation that designates November as National American Indian Heritage Month to encourage all people to learn about the Indigenous peoples of the North American continent. Similar proclamations under various names, including Native American Heritage Month and National American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month, have been issued each year since 1994. By declaring this National Native American Heritage Month, Board of Education encourages our community to learn about and honor the history and culture of Native Americans here in Norwalk and across the country, as well as Alaska Natives and Native Hawaiians.
Norwalk High School's Interdisciplinary Global Engagement Pathway thanks Norwalk Board of Education for scholarship support. Student from Norwalk High School's Interdisciplinary Global Engagement Pathway, IGEP, wish to thank Superintendent Dr. Alexandra Estrella and the Board of Education for their support of this unique opportunity offered to all NHS students to help them become globally engaged citizens. Thanks to a partial allocation of the Title IV grant, Norwalk High School has been able to provide students in the IGE pathway with scholarships for global and international education trips. Not only does this equitable investment align with our mission, but the purpose of the grant is also to promote well-rounded educational opportunities and address equity in student access. It also aligns with Title IV's goals of enhancing academic achievement and preparing students to positively contribute to a more interconnected world. The goal of the NHS Interdisciplinary Global Engagement Pathway is for students to become globally competent citizens through worldwide exploration, recognition of global perspectives, communication to diverse audiences, and the drive to take action to initiate change. Students who successfully complete the pathway requirements can apply for the Connecticut Certification of Global Engagement, which recognizes high school graduates who have successfully completed a global education curriculum and engaged in co-curricular activities and experiences that foster the development of global competencies and global citizenship. IGEP students at Norwalk High complete 3 years of study of one or more languages, complete 4 credits of coursework with a global focus, actively participate in one or more activities during their high school experience that demonstrate competency in global citizenship, and complete a global or cross-cultural public service project that is connected to a global community or a contemporary global issue. The NHS Interdisciplinary Global Engagement Pathway again wishes to thank everyone for their support.
Hello, everyone. My name is Caitlin Engel. I am the IGE Pathway Coordinator at Norwalk High School. I could stand here and praise this program and you guys as much as possible, but I think it best that it comes from the students that are a part of this pathway. So On behalf of myself and my students in Norwalk High School, I wish to thank the Board of Education, Dr. Estrella, and everyone at central office, including Jay Gerlach and Sandra Fias, for continuing to support this program and continuing to provide us with funding to make sure that we have as much of an opportunity as possible to open this program up to the students of Norwalk High School. So I would like to introduce the students that I have here with me today. The student ambassador for the IGE Pathway and president of the STEM Travelers, Amelia Elsa Schweitzer. I have Eric Gonzalez. He is our vice president of the STEM Travelers. Kate Putterman is our treasurer of the STEM Travelers, and Drina Bosquet, who is our member at large for the STEM Travelers. And they have a few words that they would like to share with you today. Amelia, go ahead.
To the members of the Norwalk Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Alexandra Estrella.
I just want to make sure that they're seen
Yeah,
by
they
the
can,
public,
yeah.
because they can't see you, right, you can stand right there,
Okay.
and I think they'll see you there. Just so that the people at home can see you. You can stay were you gonna move the camera?
Yeah, right there.
Sorry to have interrupted you. I just want to make sure you're seen. Yep, there we go. Okay.
To the members of the Norwalk Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Alexandra Estrella, central office staff, including Jay Gerlach and Sandra Fios, Dr. Lynn Moore, and NHS faculty. We are here this evening to extend our heartfelt gratitude for your steadfast support and visionary leadership in approving and nurturing the interdisciplinary global engagement pathway at Norwalk High School. Your commitment to advancing our learning experiences through international education has been truly transformative.
We are especially grateful for the continued grant support that has made these international learning opportunities accessible to more students. This funding plays a crucial role in removing barriers and ensuring that a diverse range of students can participate and benefit from these life-changing experiences.
The impact of these international trips on our learning is truly profound. Beyond the classroom, we are immersed in different cultures, fostering critical thinking, adaptability, and empathy. These experiences enrich our academic knowledge and build our confidence and awareness as global citizens. We return from our trips with fresh perspectives that we share with our peers, creating a ripple effect that broadens the entire Norwalk's community understanding of this beautiful world.
Thanks to your ongoing support, we are excited about our continued ability to expand this program and cultivate a generation of students who are globally minded, culturally aware, and prepared to thrive in an interconnected world. Thank you for believing in the importance of global education and for giving us the tools and support to make it a reality. Your dedication is helping shape not only well-rounded students, but also future leaders who are conscious and considerate global citizens.
And in full interdisciplinary fashion, the DMCA Academy over at Norwalk High School helped our students compile videos and footage and interviews for our IGE Pathway Impact video that we will be sharing at the Pathway Night in a few weeks.
I've always kind of wanted to like travel the world, you know. So when my dad told me about it and I was presented with the opportunity, we kind of just like jumped on it.
So my freshman year, the STEM Travelers was having a trip to Iceland, and so I just had to take that incredible opportunity.
I like the idea of traveling and experiencing and getting to learn about new cultures.
I knew it was a STEM-based club, and in the future I want to go into nursing, so I figured that joining this club would help me in my knowledge.
So I've been very lucky to go on 3 trips with the STEM Travelers, and I can say that each and every one has made a difference in my life and in my high school experience, but my favorite trip was definitely the Galapagos Islands.
So far I've only been on that one, the Ireland and Scotland trip, but it was definitely a great experience.
My favorite trip was definitely Scotland, specifically Edinburgh. We got to go into the Surgeons Hall Museum.
It was a beautiful country, and I think it was really cool to like see just how beautiful the world can be, you know, outside of the States and where we live.
So with the scholarship that we get through the IGEP pathway, it helps us actually pay for this trip.
So one part of the scholarship is completing a research project, and I really enjoyed this project every year because it's allowed me to delve deeper into the amazing experience of the trip and visiting another country.
So I think that scholarship was definitely what's going to benefit me in the future that's given through us through the IGEP pathway.
I think STEM Travelers has definitely shaped my high school experience.
I learned how to adapt and be more mature and
Kind of like pushed me to go out of my comfort zone. It pushed me to want to explore the world even more.
STEM Travelers has taught me to be a leader. It has taught me better social skills.
You know, you can really see how the world works and operates outside of the U.S. You know, you get to interact with people who aren't from your country, and I really think that could be like a really cool experience, you know, for you.
You.
I'm so proud of them. They were so nervous to do this.
We have another spotlight. Norwalk Public Schools receives CAVE Awards of Excellence for Educational Communications. Congratulations to the Norwalk Public Schools Communications Department for their recognition by the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education, CAVE, earning the Bonnie B. Carney Award of Excellence for Educational Communications in 8 categories and winning 11 total awards. So bear with me here. Annual report, NPS State of the Schools 2023. Computer generated project, 21 strong, Hola Familia. Course selection guide, Norwalk Public Schools School Choice Catalog. District budget, budget in brief. Social media, Women's History Month campaign, Why I Teach campaign, long tenured teachers celebrations. Special project, First Book 2024 campaign. Special Project AV, Inside NPS, and websites, the NPS Family Center website. Wow. CAVE has been honoring school districts with the Award of Excellence for Educational Communication since 1975. In 2016, the award was renamed in honor of longtime CAVE staff member Bonnie B. Carney in recognition of her 47 years of dedication to education focused on communications. With this award, CAVE's goal is to identify and honor the hardworking people in school districts for their continuing effort to communicate effectively. The NPS Communication Department is led by Director of Communications and Marketing, Nick Dua. He is joined by Media Relations Specialist Emily Morgan and Digital Media Specialist J.D. Frieda. Starting in August 2022, his team incorporated a new dynamic storytelling approach to all district content. The nature of the team's content has improved through quality, intention, style, prolificacy, and adaptability. The team has implemented new styles of video, from longer form content to implementing short reels, content, interviews, features, and campaigns revolving around district events such as First Book, the Hispanic Heritage Festival, and the Black Heritage and History Festival. The team has also focused on individualized content, putting district students, teachers, and staff in the spotlight. In May 2024, the new Educators Spotlight Why I Teach campaign was launched, a video series featuring NPS students who choose the teachers they most want to ask, why do you teach? And other questions about their profession as proud educators. The campaign will expand this winter with It Takes a Village that will highlight support staff in schools and central office staff. NPS Communications was also honored for its work this year by the National School Public Relations Association, collecting 9 publications and digital media awards, including 5 awards of excellence.
Wow.
Congratulations, Nick. I saw Emily before. I didn't see her here. You guys have come a long way. All right, one more. Norwalk Public Schools receives CABE Board of Distinction Award. The Connecticut Association of Boards of Education, CABE, has named Norwalk Public Schools and the Norwalk Board of Education recipients of the 2024 CABE Board of Distinction Award. The program, which was created in 1998, awards boards of education and superintendents which exhibit the most effective leadership and are characterized by their ability to work together as teams. The CABE Board Recognition Awards are designed to recognize boards which work effectively in this manner. The Board of Distinction Award is the highest honor the CABE presents to state boards. The Norwalk Board of Education was recognized at the 2024 CABE CAPS Convention on November 15th. Linda Osmani, Chief Financial Officer of Norwalk Public Schools, accepted the award on behalf of the district. So congrats to us, guys.
Yes, very proud.
The first year you can only acquire a certain level, but then the second year you are able to go to the highest level of distinction, and the district acquired the highest level.
Next item on the agenda, public comments.
So we have Megan Hopkins. She here? Yes. Come on up. You have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Here tonight to speak about the Marine Studies program at Brian McMahon High School, and really about all the specialized programs that Norwalk Public Schools offers. Quick history, my kids were lucky enough to literally win the lottery and get into Columbus, when it was Columbus. And we really found that that was a place that was the perfect blend of experiential learning and hands-on experience that my kids really benefited from. And it planted seeds in both of my children who really became passionate about different paths. My daughter thought that in 3rd grade she wanted to be an engineer. So we're really excited that there was an engineering pathway at McMahon. She took 2 or 3 engineering classes and realized that she really did not want to be an engineer. And I'm grateful for those classes because she's now in 1st year in college, and I think we'd be having a very sad engineering student. But instead we have a very happy pre-med student because she found the healthcare academy at McMahon. My son is a different kid, loves hands-on learning. He's a classic CMS kid. He's one that's following the tour guide up close on a field trip, loves all the immersive projects. And the thing he doesn't love is being stuck at a desk, reading, math, and things like that. So for Tim, he's always had a passion about the ocean. When he was a little boy, he would be the guy chucking rocks into the ocean forever. We just watched him chuck rocks. And then he became a sailor and a surfer and is really passionate about the ocean. So the Marine Studies program has been a perfect fit for him. He's now a junior and he's been able to explore how he could turn this passion for the ocean into a potential education and career path. So the program that Mrs. Bardish leads, through that program, Tim's learned about the things you'd expect, like oceanography and marine science, but he's also getting exposure to things that are practical. So he's gotten his boating license. He has learned about the mechanics of building a boat. And he just today was telling me all about the electric project they're working on and how he's probably not going to be an electrician someday. So it wasn't his strength. They visited the New York Maritime Academy and interviewed professionals in the marine industry to understand the career paths available to them. Mrs. Bardish even provides them, it was just chatting with me in the back there, about job opportunities for the kids in the marine industry. So connecting them with the aquarium and the Maritime Association, Seaport Association, and the local marine businesses. So as Tim looks ahead, he now knows he wants to work on the ocean. And he's looking at schools with marine transportation majors, including the Maritime Academies in New York, Maine, and Massachusetts. These schools can provide Norwalk kids with affordable education and phenomenal careers. The median salary coming out of these programs is $70,000 for a 22-year-old who's willing to hop on a ship and go around the world. So really great opportunities for Norwalk kids. And I'm so grateful for the investment that you all and your predecessors have made in specialized education, because for my two very different children, we've found their paths, both by trial and error and following their passion. So I just encourage you all to continue that. The Marine Studies program is a gem, especially for kids growing up on the coast here in Norwalk. And I'd like to thank Mrs. Bardish, Mr. LaPrade, Mrs. Stokes, and all the teachers who have done so much for my children and all these kids in the program.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any comments, anybody online?
We have Mary ordinance.
Oh, we do, okay.
And we may have one person online. If you are online and wish to make any comments, please raise your hand. And please raise your hand. Should make any comments.
Good evening and congratulations on your new. My name is Mary Jordan. I'm at Avenue, Norwalk Federation of Teachers. At the last meeting, we heard a presentation on, among other things, budget priorities, including teacher retention and recruitment. For too long, this district has deflected these concerns as national or statewide issues. So it's encouraging to see a shift, acknowledging that meaningful local solutions are possible. We urge you to prioritize budget dollars, whether locally funded or through grants, towards students and towards school-based resources, not towards central office extras, consultants, high-profile speakers, catered events. Please focus on what matters, our classrooms. Overwork and challenging conditions remain the top reasons that educators leave. Teachers are asked to do more every year, and time and resources don't match the growing demands, even with the extra prep time that we've gotten this year. We need real solutions. Caseloads and class size limits that allow for effective teaching and a sense of belonging for our students. Overcrowded and understaffed classrooms lead to diminished academic and disciplinary outcomes. We need structural changes in communication. District leadership must listen and respond to educator concerns dynamically, not just delivered top down. Look at schools with high turnover. These patterns are signals, not outliers. Opportunities for professional growth and fulfillment are essential for retention. Here at NPS, teacher transfers are often treated as problems, not pathways. Terms like poaching, practices like a 30-day hold to prevent a person from leaving in a timely way, sends a negative message to educators who are just trying to find the right fit within the district. Why block the growth? Support those who want to stay and thrive within the district. To remain competitive with neighboring districts, NPS must offer salaries and working conditions also that attract and, more importantly, retain talent. We are losing educators to other districts. Fairfield all across Baker County, from Greenwich to Bridgeport, where caseloads are smaller, workloads expectations are often more reasonable, and the pay is better. I'm sorry? 30 seconds. Okay. One more paragraph. One-time bonuses will not solve this problem. Sustained competitive wages will. Inspection models like learning walks and SQR are stressors, not retention strategies. They're high-pressure tactics that distract teachers from student needs and too often leave us feeling overwhelmed and undervalued. Initiatives like co-teaching can work, but require better planning, support, and implementation. Co-teaching works when time is allocated for meaningful co-planning, but this happens in only about 25% of our classrooms. Expansion without proper implementation risks failure. Last sentence, thank you. And most importantly, we need stronger support for addressing student behavioral challenges. Injuries to staff should never be normalized. Thank you for the work you are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think so. Nobody online? No. So any emailed comments will be included in the record, and that completes our public comments. Thank you. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. One of the things that was brought up in public comment was the work around marine science and many of the pathways that we have built across the district. And we've been very intentional in doing that so that students have opportunities to expose themselves, not just at the high school level. I think one of our parents talked about the importance of exposure and giving students an opportunity to start figuring out where their interests lie and thinking about what paths they would like to take in the future. We made a concerted effort to ensure that these opportunities exist for students as early as kindergarten throughout the scope of the K-12 experience, so that they can have opportunities to experiment and engage in different pathways early on, so that they can make informed choices, particularly because we are looking at not only students that are going off to college, but also students that are going from high school straight into the workforce, and also expanding opportunities in that fashion as well. Today, we're going to focus around marine science, the pathway of marine science. And we have a number of folks here that will be talking to you about the great work that's happening thus far, particularly because we've also have received grant money that has allowed us to engage in this further expansion and bring in additional resources that has allowed us to build a more robust program, K-12. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Pennington that will give us some insight in terms of our program design, and then we have other speakers.
Mr. Pennington, we have a full house tonight.
Oh, I said you're going to start off.
That's right. Excited to talk about our marine science program pathway that has started to develop. I think it's important to realize that this is really the culmination of year one. And as we go through, we're going to talk about all of the different sites and the programs and what we've accomplished this year and where we're looking to go next year and beyond. So I think that that's important. This stemmed from a grant, as Dr. Estrella mentioned, and it's a 3-year grant, and we've been building. This is just the end of year one. So I want to start off just by going back to why pathways, because I think that it's important to really connect with the purpose around pathways and what it does for students. I was reading an article just yesterday that talked about nationally 60% of high school students rate that they're engaged in learning. And that number to me is very low. And pathways are a way to increase engagement because it allows them to find their passions. And it was interesting listening earlier that sometimes it's finding what they don't want to go and learn more about. So it works both ways, but I think that it has been such an amazing experience. We talk about our graduation rates. Well, students who are engaged, they graduate. And so this is more opportunities for students to help them to graduate and continue with our graduation rate, which is roughly 91.6% right now. And it also creates learning opportunities, allowing students to leave high school with different certifications, to leave with different experiences. And so these pathways, not just marine science, but all of them are really connected to these components. Now, marine science is one. I'm going to just jump ahead here. Well, I'll get to the team in a second, but it really started a few years ago when Dr. Estrella joined as superintendent and wanted to redesign our summer experience for students. Our summer experience was very focused on what I will say is drill and kill, remediation, and she wanted to create an experience for our students that got them into the community, that got students excited. We hear students, oh, I go to this camp in the summer, we do this, and she really wanted to make it one of those experiences for our students. And so through that, made a partnership with the Maritime Aquarium. And that summer, a lot of people noticed, the state recognized and asked us to come and present and talk about the experience for students. And from there, really being able to build out this pathway. And it builds on what Brian McMahon started, because Brian McMahon started this work having opportunities at the high school, but really now looking at a K-12 model. And it's interesting, and I'm sure that members of the team will share, but what I find really interesting is that looking across the country, there are high school programs that have marine science opportunities, but it's hard to find another district that has a K-12 continuum. That makes it very unique to Norwalk. And I know John, who I'll introduce in a second, will talk a little bit about that because he's been to different professional learning opportunities and had a chance to talk to a lot of districts. And he has shared that it's very unique as well. So going back to who we are, it takes a village to do this work, and there's a lot of people here tonight. And you'll get to hear from students, you'll get to hear from staff, and I think it's important because without them, this is not a success. And so we have first the Assistant Education Administrator, Misty Hofer, who's here. She oversees STEM. And she is really the point person that is helping to coordinate all of the work that's happening through our marine science coordinator, John Foliak. And John was a science teacher at Norwalk High School for taking on this role. And like he just told me today, he was just like, I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary in this role. And so it's really interesting to be able to look and see the work that has been able to happen over the last year. And this is really a 2-part series. So you're going to get to hear about the program tonight, but I know that we also are going to be visiting some of the sites. And so if you have a chance to come, that would be great because we're going to visit the 3 programs and see their spaces and be able to talk a little bit more with you. So with that, and then I just don't want to forget Brian McMahon. We have Eva Bardish, who's the Marine Science Coordinator. She's here as well. And we have Amanda Lewis at West Rocks. Just wave. You can wave and say hi. I know you'll come up and talk. And then we have Diana Walker at Jefferson Marine Science Elementary School. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to John and he'll take it from here. John, if you go, the floor is yours. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Foldiak. I want to thank you first for this opportunity. I'm really excited to share what we've done working with this amazing group of students and staff this year. Sorry. All right. So Rob already talked a little bit about the history. So in the interest of time and lots of people who want to share, I won't, I went too far. So I'll give you a brief, I taught at Norwalk High School and I grew up in Norwalk. So I graduated from Silvermine from West Rocks from Norwalk High School. And this is a dream job for me to be able to come back and share the passion with this community. And this really, to add to what all Rob said, this was born from a desire on the coast of Norwalk, in the coastal community to really connect with our local businesses, our community, our area. So many of our students have not had this ability, this accessibility to be able to do this. So I'm really excited to do that. As we started this vision, a big part of it obviously is the Maritime Aquarium. At this point, I'd like to introduce Nikki Rosenfeld and have her come up and talk about part of the vision that we developed together for our pathway.
Hi, everyone. Nikki Rosenfeld, Associate Director of Education, Maritime Aquarium, as well as Manager of Vessel Locks and Captain. So as others have said, I just want to reiterate that the primary goals of the pathway are to provide students exposure and access to more career opportunities. And despite our location right on Long Island Sound, a lot of these opportunities were not well known in our community. So as part of the Marine Science Pathway, and we developed the Maritime Aquarium, co-developed along with NPS, 5 what we were calling channels through the pathway. And so being nautical, we chose channels as a nod to navigational channels on our waterway that boats use. And what these represent are content and experiences that are woven through all of the courses and experiences that we lead at the aquarium throughout the K-12 pathway. First is Marina Ready. We think of this as being a lot of the technical, hands-on aspects, skills like designing and troubleshooting and working with hands, and ultimately possibly leading to jobs in shipping operations, in marinas, being a captain, many of these things. Second is environmental optimist, we called it. And what we think of this as feeling empowered to make change, working in policy, perhaps working in a government agency or NGO or environmental think tank. So this requires a lot of knowledge of different issues throughout our world. Then marine science and research, which would be research and getting experience, both at the aquarium and the activities that they do that may lead to careers in universities or again for different agencies. Husbandry and aquaculture, so raising animals and as well as what's going on right in our backyard with seaweed and oysters. And finally, marine education, science communication, and the importance of that both in informal and formal places. So again, we weave these all throughout all of our programs that we do along with Norwalk Public Schools. Any more time? I'll kick it over.
Thank you.
Back to you.
I'm just gonna introduce you. And then we'll hop on. So I'm the marine science coordinator. My counterpart is Lisa Wu. She's the program director that we share. We're opposite each other. Lisa Wu.
Right, hi everyone. Like John said, my name is Lisa Wu. I am the program manager of this marine science pathway at the Maritime Aquarium at Norwalk. And we are thrilled to have this partnership with Norwalk Public Schools to help bring this marine science pathway to life. And I'll kind of explain our partnership generally. So through this collaboration, we provide pathway students with hands-on learning opportunities at the aquarium, in their classrooms at school, as well as in outdoor spaces like Calf Pasture Beach. And these experiences are designed to support classroom learning and also to align with those next generation science standards and ocean literacy principles. And then as well as those channels that Nikki just mentioned as well that we designed specifically for this pathway. And one example of these learning experiences is a program that we did with Jefferson's second grade, actually today and yesterday. So they visited the aquarium and they did a tour and a program, and they were exploring the process of designing an aquarium habitat. So to begin their experience, we had Kimio, who is our associate director of exhibits at the aquarium, come talk to all of the students to learn about his role at the aquarium and how he designs those exhibits. And then the students were able to ask him questions about his job as well. And then after that, students took part in a hands-on experiment to test different materials to see what properties they had and to see if it would be a good fit to design a habitat for an oyster toadfish. So they learned what they used what they learned with Kimio as well as in their experiments to design and then sketch out a habitat for that oyster toadfish. So these experiences, immersive and interactive experiences, are exactly what we aim to offer all Pathway students. So we are excited to continue this partnership with Pathway Schools so that we can inspire not only the next generation of marine scientists, but also the next generation of artists, educators, mariners, and also environmental stewards.
Thank you. I'd like to step back for just a moment to revisit what Rob had said, which is that I went to the National Marine Educators Association conference this summer in Boston. And the uniqueness of this pathway should be done. I didn't find anyone doing anything like this, which is so exciting. There are high schools, there are schools, but there's not that I found a comprehensive program tying it all together like we're doing. And I'm very proud of that. That was your picture. I'm gonna call it Eva Bartian moment. Throughout this presentation, one of the themes you'll hear are our partnerships. And Obviously we've spoken about the Maritime Aquarium. We are, committed to tying together this community with what we're doing. And we have some really valuable partnerships. One of them is the Seaport Association. If you'd like to come up. We can talk about it.
Hi, I'm Eva Bardish. I'm the Marine Science Academy Coordinator at Brian McMahon High School. Our program actually started 5 years ago with a private funder and some collaboration with the district. So we've been in FIG since 2019. Of course, we had a rocky start with 2020, but we're making headways. One of our biggest supporters has always been the Norwalk Seaport Association. They are a fabulous partner in our program. They have given us so many opportunities to go out to Sheffield Island and kids and do college studies. They're actually here today, but they didn't come up and speak because they wanted me to do it. But Jerry Tony, who's in the back, and Maureen Bonifat are fabulous partners with our program. Jerry's had a dream for years to get every one of Norwalk Public Schools kids out to Sheffield Island at least once in their K-12 career. And I think honestly, with this pathway and this program, we're on track to do it more than once, which is a great experience. The first time that we went out with the high school program, we took a bunch of 11th and 12th graders and partnered with Rowayton Elementary School and took the 5th grade class out. And it was fabulous because the high school kids were teaching the elementary school kids. And so they were showing what they learned in their classroom for the younger kids. Since then, we've just kind of exploded with programs, and Jerry has given lots of our students opportunities. We had 3 kids that were first mates for the summer on their boats. So they have their boating license, and then they were actually able to get some hours behind the wheel, helping out the local community. So they've been a tremendous partner for us. We in turn offer volunteer opportunities for our students to help out at the Oyster Festival at their volunteer tent. And they've been one of our biggest supporters throughout the entire program. So that's really nice for them, for us to give back to them, and they give back to us. It's been a great partnership with us. I'm going to move on to.
Sure, and if your students have.
Okay, I'm going to have Maria and Sam come up. So Maria, you guys can sit. So I'll just squat. Maria and Sam are 2 of my students. They're in their second year of the program, but they're both juniors. So they joined us as sophomores in the Marine Studies 1 program. They're both very nervous to be here tonight. I'm totally not worried about it. They're just going to give you a little bit of background on their experiences. I apologize, guys. It's my birthday, and everybody in my family is trying to call me right now. Sorry, no. So I'm just going to let them talk about their experiences, what they like about the program, some of the trips that they've been on.
Right. Hello, everyone. Like Ms. Barter said, I'm Sam. Since I started the Marine Science Academy back in sophomore year, it's been a class that I chose because I thought it would be something fun to be doing something else rather than just sitting at a desk writing. So my experience was great. I mean, I never would have thought I was able to get my boating license first year. So that was awesome.
That's great.
Then it led me to believe that marine science is a pathway that I want to follow. I've always had fish. I've donated many fish to our classroom. So it's something that I see myself doing, and being able to be in this Marine Science Academy was really helpful. It has really showed me, the pros and cons. And, after all these years of, learning, and with Ms. Bartish being my teacher, she's awesome. So I'm really grateful for you guys funding this program, and I hope this can continue for many years for not only us, but for many students that are coming to this program.
Hi, I'm Maria. Something that I liked a lot from knowing about this program was the animals, actually, and especially the axolotls. Since I'm little, I always loved animals, and I found out about biology, marine biology, so I wanted to do that. And when I found out about this program, I was like, I told my mom I want to go to that school just for that program. And since I'm there, I was just like, about the animals again. And since then, I love the amount of stuff we learn to take care of them, feed them, how to measure the water, the field trips, like one to Sheffield Island. I'm the type of person that loves getting my hands on stuff and doing it myself. And we got to grab crabs and shells and other stuff. And I'm just really thankful for this program because of the biology, and I would love to maybe get a career out of it. So thank you very much for it.
You guys are incredible artists, and we went to the boat show and they had a task at the boat show, which was to interview people in industry and find out how they got to where they were. And they created a fabulous interview. They were interviewing people back and forth, and then they had to present it to the class. So it was great because they got to talk to people in industry and find out how they got there, what they did, and then possible career opportunities.
That was a really great experience. Not only for interviewing, but some of the people were like, here's my business card. You should contact me if you have any questions. They had something.
That was good. Good networking. Maybe we'll
There you go.
see it one day.
Yeah.
And where I love the show.
Yeah, nice.
Sign that?
Yes, it was
Yes.
at the boat show.
Okay.
I was like, I need to bedazzle the show. Thank you.
So I have this former student's younger brother here. Come on, this is Paul Demasi. His older brother, Peter, was in my class for 4 years in the program. So I don't want to match next year. So they just wanted to share. Peter's away at school, he couldn't make it, but he wanted to share something with you guys.
So Paul has a speech that he's gonna read from Peter, but I also wrote my own. I'm gonna go first because we just talked about the axolotls and Peter started the axolotl program. So my name is Suzanne DeMacy. I'm here to tell you about my experience with the Brian McMahon Marine Science program. The program was an essential piece of my son's high school experience. Before high school, he was extremely nervous about what his future held. He was worried not only about what field of study he would go into, but he also had the normal fears about how he would make friends and fit in. He's not a competitive kid. And although at 6 feet, 3 inches tall, he looks like he was built for sports, he never felt comfortable on the field. He found his answers in the Marine Lab. His first year there, Ms. Bartish allowed him to start an axolotl tank. So an axolotl, if you guys don't know, because I didn't know, it's an endangered, tell me if this is right, Mrs. Bartish, endangered species of aquatic salamanders that are only found in a specific lake in Mexico. They have external gills. They have these like frills around their head, that's their external gills.
Right.
Peter always loved them. He learned about them at our church one year at actually Bible camp. And it was kind of like, hey, no matter how weird you are, you're always loved. And he really wanted to have one. So we started the axolotl program, and together as a class, they learned how to care for this fragile aquatic creature. And although he's graduated, the axolotls live on in the program. Peter found a whole community in marine science. He looked forward to his marine class, knowing not only he would learn about these exciting topics relevant to our Long Island Sound community, he would be able to see his like-minded friends who also love the subject. He stayed in the program for all 4 years, finishing with the IB Marine class. In senior year, he even completed his senior internship in marine science, helping with field trips and lab work. The Marine program was the cornerstone of his education at McMahon. It shaped his life, honestly. The lab was his safe place at school, and the things he learned sparked more interest over the years. He's an Eagle Scout, scuba certified, got his boating license, and is now an honors college student studying environmental systems and sustainability with a concentration in coastal marine systems at Southern Connecticut State University. They often asked me to thank Ms. Bartish for all of her lessons. She beautifully taught her classes using hands-on resources to push past just the basic understanding of marine science, things that could not fully be understood from a textbook or an online tool, one that gave him a real foundation he could build on for college. And I hope the program continues so that his younger siblings can enjoy it and just the way it, did for him. And Paul has a letter from Peter that he's gonna read to you guys.
My name is Paul DeMacy. I'm the seventh grader at Rowland Middle School, and I'm here to read a letter from my brother who is away at college. I would like all of you to pause and think for a moment what this city would be like if the Long Island Sound dried up. No more beach days, no more boat trips, no more early morning fishing with the family. This is what would happen if the marine science program at McMahon Season 2. In the wise words of Sir David Attenborough, if children don't grow up knowing about nature and appreciating it, they will not understand it. And if they don't understand it, they won't protect it. It's widely known that we as a species have 10 years left to reverse climate change. I am where I am because of this program. The reason I am not here today is because I am at SCSU studying vigorously how to combat climate change. Everything I know about marine science, each memory, each experience, each bit of information, I owe to Brian McMahon and the Marine Science Program. Today, it will help me achieve my childhood dream of saving our oceans. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the Marine Program. It was my starting point, providing a safe environment that encouraged discussion and growth. Soon it became more than just tank work. After 4 years of taking this class, I can fully say that it's about the bond between classmates. It's about the bond between you and your tank full of neon Tetris. It's about you and your future. The future of not only Long Island Sound, but of our ocean.
And Peter's class was a phenomenal class. They were the first ones to go kind of all the way through our program. So it's really nice to see them. But this grant that is in the second year of the grant is fabulous for us to be able to build upon what we established at Brian McMahon. We've been able to add more programs. Our partnership with the Maritime Aquarium has been expanded. These guys are always in our classroom, which is great because one of the huge successes, I think, is when we have support as educators. This is not something that teachers can be forced to teach. It has to be something that they have a passion for. And so when there's that uncomfortable, I'm not sure how to do this, having partnerships like the Maritime Aquarium, the Seaport Association, all the other organizations that we have gives us that self-confidence and support that we need in order to make these programs grow in a way that's successful for our children. It is very experiential learning, getting out of the classroom rather, and then into the real world. Like our kids at McMahon, we've had over 27 different activities outside of the classroom for them over the course of our program, anywhere from the trout release, we were trout in the classroom, and then we took them to Silvermine School. We did a partnership with the elementary schools. Their Jefferson kids came and our kids did lessons on the different stages and what we were doing with the trout. And that collaboration between the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school, I think is incredible. You inspire children. I want to get there. I want to do that. They hear about it and they love it. They visit our lab and they see our kids and they just want to come. It's a beautiful thing when our students, we had a visit a couple last year and I had students, they came up to me and they said, Mrs. Bardish, this little boy doesn't speak English. Can I translate for him? And I was like, please do, go for it. And so they would just thrive because they understood what they had to do and they were trying to make those children feel welcome and a part of our classroom. And so it's been wonderful. At the high school level, we keep adding new courses to try to kind of broaden our base. Right now, we have 11 different course offerings. We're in the process of proposing a few more for to open it up a little bit more. We have a lot of 2-year courses. Once they hit 11th grade, they can take IB Marine Science, which is a 2-year course. They can also have a Marine Engineering and Trades course, which is run by an ABYC curriculum. So our teacher that's teaching that is in the process of getting her ABYC certification, which gives the kids that Marina Ready channel. So then they can have the skills to actually go get a job at one of the local marinas. And that's one of the things that we want to continue to build is our relationship with local companies like that, to give our kids opportunities to just walk out of high school and go get a job right in town and give back to the town where they grew up. Because it's really important. We have a lot of marine industry that's right here that are really looking for people to come learn and stay in the business as opposed to leave town. We've worked with the Connecticut Marine Trade Association. They do a career fair for us every year. You came to it one year. It's fabulous. We do a little intimate talk with people in industry. The kids get to sit down with ship owners, ship brokers, and ship shooters, which is a photographer that actually takes all the visuals of the ships, and talk to them about how did you get to where you are? What skills do you need in order to be in that industry? And some of them walk away and they're like, I want to do this, I want to do that, which is really great. We're also trying to keep connected with our kids who graduated. So we have one of our first students is actually a junior at Mass Maritime Academy, and she's reached back out to us at the boat show. She found us and she said, I want to come back and talk to your kids. And actually Tim's parents, I was just telling them they're going for a visit to Mass Maritime. And so we're going to connect our former student with a current student to show that, you know, that bridge to college maritime academies and get that partnership built up. And we're keeping in touch with our seniors that graduated last year. Where are they? What are they doing? We have environmental analysts that they're studying environmental analytics. And I'm like, wow, how did you get to that from us? That's amazing. And they're all over the country and they're keeping tabs on what we're doing and they're telling us what they're doing. So it's a phenomenal program. So we're very grateful for everything that you guys have done to help continue that support. And I'm so excited for you guys to come to the lab on Thursday. Anything else you want me to go over?
Great, thank you.
That's really terrific. I'm looking forward to going to see the labs too.
So we could spend another hour talking about partnerships. I want to focus on just one quickly today, which is kind of a moment in my job. We got a text from one of the Bloom Brothers Oysters and Clams that they had caught a squid today, and it's now living in the tank at Brian McMahon High School. So that's hopefully it's still there. We've never had a squid before, so we're doing everything we can so that you can see it, but it's really fascinating to be able to see it up close, and we're very excited. But that's the kind of partnerships that we're developing and expanding in the maritime. We've had recent Sound Waters, we've really connected with them and we're looking to grow that. So this list is growing all the time, and it's just wonderful to see. So this whole vision is, you know, you've heard about the activities in the class a little bit, but it's all based on what we're doing with curriculum as well. And it might be harder to see that, you know, as you just look at it, but there's been a lot of work behind the scenes. As I've grown in this position, I've learned how to write curriculum that aligns with our Portrait of a Graduate. We've had discussions about that and trying to tie this in where marine science is marine science, but it's really at its foundation science and next generation standards and align with our Portrait of a Graduate. So that's important to mention. So you've listened to Eva and Brian McMahon High School. At this time, I'd like to call up Diana Walker from Jefferson and then her students to tell you how, you know, you've seen where they end as they're leaving. How do we start? Where do we begin in, you know, as young as kindergarten?
Well, my name is Diana Walker. I'm the STEAM teacher at Jefferson Marine Science Elementary School. We teach marine science. Yep, this is Darsh, by the way, and Ray over here is also going to speak. We teach marine science through the lens of STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And so we kind of make it marine science more like STEAM when it comes to like Lisa Wu was saying about the aquarium design and really, you know, thinking of like how to design certain things. Darsh and Ray were both at those field trips this week. And so maybe they can talk a little bit more about it if they want to. I love my job because I get to see every student in my school. It's like a special. And so I get to see smiling faces from kindergarten all the way up to 5th grade. And I just love to see them get so excited when they come into class and they ask, what are we gonna do today? So that's all, I kind of wanted to just say that. I'm gonna let Darsh go first. If Darsh, you want to sit here. Sorry.
Oh, man.
My name is Parth. I'm from Jefferson Marine Science Elementary School. Today I'll be talking about what is my favorite part in the STEAM lab. My favorite part in the STEAM lab is the touch tank, and in the touch tank there are crabs, hermit crabs and fishes. And there's a crab that Miss Walker put separately because if you put your hand in the tank, it will come chasing after you and try to pinch. The trips we go to the Maritime Aquarium, and my favorite part is, and my favorite two things to say, I like to touch the stingrays and like to watch the movies, and I like to see the sharks and all the other stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just tell you what you said, we have a food crowd that the Maritime Aquarium actually caught, and they had it in the touch tank for like one day, and we're like, nope. So we had to put it into a separate tank, and so that's what he was talking about with the crab that could catch you.
All right, Ray, you ready?
Got this right. Hello, my name is Ray Lucky. I am in second grade at Jefferson Marine Science Elementary School. I am so lucky that we go on field trips to the Maritime Aquarium, and I get to learn more about marine life. I am even luckier that we have a touch tank in our STEAM classroom. Miss Walker made our tank resemble the real ocean with this all the sea life. It is so cool to have the ocean in my classroom. It is a reminder for me how important the ocean is. We need the ocean in each small ways, and a lot of people realize having this program at school has taught me how I can help make a difference.
So as we begin in kindergarten and elementary, we are, after this first year, we're committed to sixth grade, and now we're rolling into seventh grade at West Rocks. So I believe Amanda Lewis has some students from West Rocks who are going to come up and speak now.
Yeah.
Where are they?
I'm Amanda Lewis. I am the sixth grade marine science teacher over at West Rocks. Started last year with a group that's currently in seventh grade. And while I was intimidated at first to start, once we got started last year, incredibly excited, especially after going over to Brian McMahon and seeing Eva, and I go, I want that. How do we get that? And just noticing now with my sixth graders, hearing everything that they get to do over at Brian McMahon, the experiences, because they have not gotten to do them yet. Ours are starting later. It is exciting. Our new marine science lab is up and started, and the construction has been incredible to be a part of. We're focusing on freshwater tanks over at West Rocks, which is very exciting because I want to be different. We also have our touch tank that is up and running, which is awesome to see. I'm trying to get a sturgeon. Not sure if it'll happen, but I'm trying.
Give me the permit.
Reaching for the stars here. I'm trying.
Try.
But I have 3 sixth grade students here that are going to talk about what they're excited about so far, what we've done so far. And then when you come in on Thursday, you'll get to meet with some seventh graders as well. So I have Angelo, Evan, and James. Come on, the Evangelos, come on. They're my boy band.
My name is James Davey, and I'm a student at West Rocks Middle School. My pathway is environmental science. The class has taught me to be a critical thinker. Ms. Luce encourages us to explore, be curious, and ask questions. Currently, we have around 13 tanks in our room, and at the end of the year, we will have around 16. We are hopefully trying to get a sturgeon in addition to our tanks. Ms. Lewis told us that there are specific rules in order to have a sturgeon. I'm looking forward to having a lot of fish in our tanks. This year will be fun because it's my first year, having an environmental science program, and at Cranberry Elementary School, I've always had just science.
My name is Daniel. I'm part of the marine science program, and we've been learning about bioluminescence and thermal energy. And we created box models and had specific animals, and one was the anglerfish. So we created it using glow in the dark paint. And then also we have a touch tank, and many fish have died. It's a really experience. I think 5.
Yeah.
I've known that have died, and yeah, it's really. Thank you.
My name is Evan, and I'm another person, a part of the 6th grade marine science program. And my favorite part about it is that we're not just learning regular science, we're learning about marine science, which I like better than regular science. My favorite part about it is just learning about all the fish and learning how to take care of it. Like one time I fed a fish in the touch tank. And yeah, it's really fun. And yeah, I just like it better than regular science. It's more interactive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Story behind the sturgeon. Amanda came to me, I actually have looked into it and it requires some permitting. So it's not a hard no, but we're working on it. Okay, so we've also, as our students are learning, our staff is learning with them. We've gone to Hammonasset, we've taken staff out to Calf Pasture Beach, to Sheffield Island. We've gone out and visited other marine science programs as well. In Groton High School, they have a marine science magnet school. And I would argue that the staff is learning about as much as the students, and I hope they're enjoying it as much as. This is one of the touch tanks that you'll see if you come on Thursday. This is at Jefferson. They're focused much more on the touch aspect. So that's sort of where they are. Those organisms all come from Long Island Sound. So there's a touch tank in each of the schools. That's a common theme, but as Amanda said, we are separating a little bit, making some unique experiences. So with Jefferson, you'll see some more colorful things, I think. At West Rocks, you'll see more of a freshwater ecosystem as we connect the rivers that were mentioned earlier when we talked about the Native Americans with Long Island Sound, with that ecosystem. And then at McMahon, it's such you have to see the lab if you haven't seen it. It's really impressive. There's a picture of us with it. This is the touch tank at McMahon. If that squid's still there, which I'm really hoping it is, on Thursday, you'll get to see that. In addition, we have skate, we have pufferfish, all from Long Island Sound, things that if you were to go to Calf Pasture Beach or somewhere around here, you wouldn't see, but they're there. And I think that experience really, catches people and hooks them. So, where are we going from here? We're building, as I said, up, at Jefferson, it's in every nook and cranny. It's a marine science school. At West Rocks, we are 6th and 7th grade, and we're looking forward to 8th grade and planning that, and then we'll roll that out for next year. And then at McMahon, we had mentioned Eva had mentioned developing some of the programs. One of the ones we're very excited about is the Future Marine Educators, which is in development for next year, where students really will be teaching those younger students with them. One of the things that we're in the purchase process is really a wow factor, as we've been to some of the marine science high schools, is that we're having a saltwater reef tank at each school, which hopefully will be really impressive, I think. So you don't want me to go on and on and on and on because you don't like. Here's a QR code if you would like to. There's more information, more pictures. I thank you very much for your time and attention and really appreciate it all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got the call. I'm sorry, Misty, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
QR code.
So as you're looking at the QR code, Misty worked really hard for the fish question.
Blocking the
mark.
QR.
I know. He's
I owe
standing in
you.
front of it.
John, you're the one.
John, you're blocking the QR code.
Tell my wife, I'm always in the way. She'll-
No, you're good.
We're good now?
Yeah. Now you can move to the question.
So now we'll see the question mark. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. There you go. So it's like a page out of Finding Nemo.
So questions?
Questions?
I don't have any questions, but I grew up on Long Island Sound, and so I'm very passionate and a big supporter of it. And I've seen it go through some times when it wasn't so safe, you know, like in the 80s, it wasn't safe to swim in Long Island Sound, and come a long way. So I'm so glad that we are investing here in Norwalk, and Dr. Estrella, thank you for having the vision to see this as a K through 12. And thank you to your cabinet, who I know have been working on the grants to support the program. Thank you for that. I went to the Maritime Summer Academy night at the aquarium this past summer, and it was magical. And I mean, we spent like hours there, like walking through and seeing all the kids' projects that they've worked on over the summer, and they were there with their families, and it was just such a great night. And I think it was like the biggest turnout that.
Yeah, we
they've
broke the record. It was
had.
over like 1,000 something families.
That night. Yeah, so that was incredible to see, just like the energy and the excitement, all the kids like showing their projects so proudly. And you could tell, like, I learned stuff that night, you know, like reading what they had written, and like, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. So that was really incredible. So thank you to everybody who put that on. And Mr. Foliak, I wanted to tell you that my son was very sad when you quit Norwalk High School. But thank you for, I'm not leaving the district.
But yeah.
Yeah, I know. So, but I'll tell him I saw you tonight.
Please do.
Yes, thank you.
Just to echo what Kara said, I mean, it's wonderful that this program is taking place. It's natural extension for us to be doing that, given the proximity to Long Island Sound and the ecosystem that represents and all the businesses around that. So you're to be commended. So I guess the question is, what else do you need?
The sturgeon.
The sturgeon.
Yeah, permitting for sturgeon. You know, we are grant funded for 2 more, you know, until the end of 2026. So, you know, Eva and I have talked a lot about continuing this and keeping this going, you know, for the future of Norwalk students.
You know, and for me, the love of just seeing the kids and how happy they are to talk about it. On a personal note, I know that we still get to learn each other's stories. But I, having parents that were immigrants here, I did not have the chance to become the marine biologist that I wanted to be. But to hear and see these stories, and thank you to Dr. Estrella's vision and the hard work of the team, that these children have all these different paths for them, is amazing.
I grew up in Norwalk, and so many people that I've known and meet say, I wish I had this opportunity and I can say that too. I wish I had this opportunity. So I am so grateful for this opportunity and to share it with others.
I could share that. I grew up in Norwalk on the water, in Harborview, you know, on the beach all the time and learning how to swim. And I just love the ocean and Long Island Sound. And circuitous route came to marine biology in graduate school. I was a biology major, and then I went for my master's in that. But it's all came from my experiences as a child on the Norwalk River. And now I'm rowing on the Norwalk River. So I go by all these places and see the little usually there are a number of girls that are on the little boats from the Maritime Center, and they're digging in and getting water samples and, you know, getting the pH and all those kinds of good water chemistry stuff. But I am personally thrilled to see what you've done, the teachers have done with this opportunity, and the collaboration with the Maritime Center. My mind is just like blown, and also thinking of Manresa coming up.
We visited Memphis as well.
I lived around the
Shout to the
corner from
Maritime
Manresa.
Aquarium's already.
And the thought that they're going to have labs and tanks and all these things, and we can get to it through, from with a boat. It's gonna be so exciting to make use of the beauty that we're right next to. And we could miss it if you didn't, Dr. Estrella didn't have that vision to talk with, and I also went to that evening, the head of the Maritime was telling me, he was talking with, just casually at dinner or something, and you mentioned, let's do this, and he's like, let's do it, and that kind of wonderful people that will take a challenge to help our children and our teachers get excited about learning. So this is a pretty thrilling night. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's amazing to see these young students sit here and have this open discussion in front of adults and to speak on the behalf of the program. It speaks merit to what it's all about. And I just feel that, and one young man stated that, this is something that opened him up, and to just have the opportunity to go hands-on. There's a lot of kids that are shy behind the scene, but when they're given the opportunity to something they enjoy and they love, I see that, and I see that in this program, and I can just see others piling in, so whatever you guys are doing, continue to do the good work, because to see these young kids come here and sit and talk about this and be straight about it, and to speak on their experience, it speaks merit. Thank you.
I'll just say as a final thought, I just want to give John a lot of credit as the Marine Science Coordinator. He's done a lot of work. I want to give a shout out to all the teachers that came tonight, because they're learning, they're growing, they're building these programs from the ground up. And so just a huge shout out to all of them, and give them a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we conclude, there's a teacher that's here on her birthday. We have our head of HR here on her birthday. Around the take a quick happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. To you. So hopefully this gives you some insight about on the great work that is happening across the district. This is just one pathway of many pathways that we have been gradually building on the K-12 continuum. We will continue to further engage the board in information sessions like this within our other pathways. As you know, we also are building our IB pathway, and we've made some significant progress with IB as well as many others. So we will continue throughout the scope of the year to provide some insight to the board so you can see and hopefully set up some site visits so that you can also visualize in action, like we will later this week, the Marine Science program. So I hope this kind of opens your lens to what's happening in our schools and some of the outstanding work that our team is doing, and how it takes a village, right? There's a lot of people in this room helping to make this possible. And it's not just people within our system, it's people outside of our locus, like our nucleus, supporting us and doing the work. And thank you to the Maritime and all the other partners that have worked with us to make this possible. So there's two other points that I was going to engage in. I'm going to leave those to next month if that's okay, because I know this was very extensive. And as a result of that, that concludes my superintendent report.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Make sure you come to school on time, even though you had a late night. Yeah.
She's funny. Okay, so now we are in the section of the action consent. This is where we can vote for multiple items at once. Do I need to remove one to vote separately? Okay, so we have approvals of personnel, approvals of trips, approval of minutes, and approval of October 2024 budget transfers. Motion to approve.
Move to action consent.
Thank you, Sherry. Seconded by
Second.
Mary Ellen. All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Alan? Yeah, he's there, but he's muted. Okay, or if we can't hear him. All right, so that's unanimous. Thank you. Next item to vote is approval of policy 6008, parental access to instructional material. Any questions? Update? It's basically just
Just make a little
Yeah,
update.
just a quick overview.
This is a policy we have, just some wording has been updated from the state. And so parents have always, for many years, had access to our instructional materials. And it's just saying, with the exception of the tests, but all the instructional materials, and it's just updated the.
Yeah, just updated the language to the state.
So no
statute.
change.
So no big change. Motion to approve policy 6000. Seconded by Jasmine. All in favor, please say aye. Raise your hand. Thank you. Now we have approval of plan specifications and final cost estimate for state project 103-0264N, South Norwalk Elementary School, new phase 2, FF&E and technology.
Move Pritchard, item B.
Yes. Seconded by Janine. All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
I just
Thank
want
you.
to say that I'm glad to support this item as we continue to move forward to support the building of Stella School.
That's very exciting. Item C, approval to authorize Norwalk Public Schools Board of Education to accept an Merrimack Elementary School UST removal, State Project 103-0261, CV/OT as complete. Ashley, seconded by Mary Ellen. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. And next item on the agenda is monthly financial report, Linda.
Good evening. I just have one slide for you tonight. Just talk through it. But first of all, congrats on the award. It was an honor receiving it on your, accepting it on your behalf. So congrats for all the great.
Thank you, great photo.
This is a tough act to follow. Those presenters before me, I don't know. So anyway, just wanted to briefly kind of go over where we are with year-to-date financials as of October. With October, we're a third way into the school year, 33% of the budget. We've spent about 30%, and I'll just kind of walk through the different buckets. You do have the detailed line item information, and you also have my narrative report as well of what the trends are. So I'll just kind of skim through that. So the first line item, you'll see that salaries year to date is showing that we're about 11% below where we were last year. Just as a refresher, when we budget for salaries each year, we know we budget for vacancies as well, so we offset the total salaries at the bottom line of the budget. So this is a trend that we anticipate. We know that we're gonna end the year slightly less than what was approved because we always budget for those, for the turnover vacancies. But as well as that, every time we hire new teachers and experienced teachers retire, there is some salary savings, but we always account for that as we build the budget. Benefits, the second bucket there, you'll notice is about 18% below where we were this period last year. That is by design. You'll recall that when we approved this year's budget, historically, we transfer funds into the health insurance account. This past year, that health insurance account had additional reserves. So in adjusting and reconciling the budget this year, we reduced that amount of benefits transfer into the insurance account. So this will continue to be low compared to last year because it is budgeted about $4 or $5 million less than what we ended with last year's budget. So that's part of the reason why you're seeing that 18% differential in that. The next one is professional and technical services. Most of these are timing of payments. You recall that as well this year, the mayor did provide through the ARPA grants, $1.8 million to the city in addition to what was budgeted. And so what we've done is we were able to lower the budgeting on this side of the general fund, and we budgeted those in a separate account for those ARPA grants. So of that 1.8 million, we spent year to date about 9.5 million, which is kind of where we'd expect to be. So that's why you're seeing some of these spending trends on the local side a little bit lower, is because we're subsidizing some of those costs from that mayor grant, which is another discussion that we'll have when we begin the budget for FY26, is how do we move forward with that, because that funding is going away. The next one on this list are property services. Property services, this is really 7% below, but it's really timing of payments. Most of these are contracted services that we have, including our custodial services. But we also have miscellaneous repairs and equipment for boilers and things like that that are not budgeted in the capital budget, but in the operating budget. So those are also going up. Other services include things like student transportation contract and our spend out of district tuition. So right now, that other services is showing that we're only at 1.7% relative to where we were last year, almost flat. But we know that number is going to go high. So for example, with out of district tuition, we only had in the general fund about $10.2 million, but we anticipate that's going to end at somewhere around 11.3. So as we get closer to the end of the year, we will see some of those expenses creep up as those bills start coming due. So that is one that we're watching. You just approved a couple of transfers, and included in those were transfers for some of those special education services. Supplies and material, the major component of this, about 60% of that is electricity and natural gas. And so that is probably going to land where we anticipated to land, even though it's showing about 16% below where it is now, but that number is going to be close to what we budgeted for. So we will see that number creep up, especially as we get through the colder months, with gas bills starting to escalate as well. But the other two items, equipment and other objects, equipment is relatively flat. 16%, but it will be flat by the time we end the year. The other objects, it's showing 6.2% below where we were last year. However, included in other objects is our transfers to the school lunch fund. We do that transfer at the end of the year. This year we budgeted $500,000. So we will end the year, that account will be a lot higher than this period last year, because last year we didn't do any transfers to the health insurance account. So we have $500,000 budgeted this year. We're hoping that would be sufficient, but we're watching that closely. For the upcoming budget, which we'll be discussing over the next couple of weeks, we're anticipating that for the upcoming year, we'll be at $1.3 million transfers to the school lunch fund. And I'm happy to answer any questions, but again, you do have the narrative information and all of the line item details as well.
I know you would explain to us about the costs for the new school. I don't know if you wanted to go over that again. I think you said you were kind of using what we did with Cranberry as a base, like as a base point to determine how we're going to fund the utility costs over there.
Yes, so with the new school, because although we'll be moving to the South Norwalk School, the students will be moving to that new school together with all the staff. We will not be vacating the CMS building, so that CMS building will continue to be used for other educational needs, and therefore the cost of the South Norwalk School will be incremental. So there's two buckets of those costs. The first one are the like the building cost, you know, the utilities, the custodial, the security, because we don't have any of those now. So once that school becomes operational, all of those will be added costs that we don't have. But then there's also a personnel cost that goes with that, because that school each year we've been increasing the grade. So this year we're up to second grade. Next year we'll have third graders in that school. And so we will need to have a complement of staff to support pre-K through third grade. So we'll be looking at additional staffing costs at that school and some additional operational costs at that school that are incremental that we don't have this year. We're kind of crunching those numbers now. We'll be presenting, we have a workshop coming up and we have a couple of conversations that are happening. And so we'll start putting those numbers together and share those numbers with you. But it is based on some of the square footage costs that we know we've had. We have some experience now with Cranberry and Jefferson. So
baseline.
We have a baseline and we know what the utility costs are. We know what the square footage is. So we have a good understanding of that. I think I shared this with the finance committee. Unfortunately, we're not able to put solar in that facility. So those are benefits that would have otherwise been achieved.
That's not true.
That is not true? We can?
It hasn't been decided.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I stand corrected. So,
Potential.
so we're hoping if we are able to then do solar at that facility, then we have the opportunity to offset some costs. But for now, we're not factoring that in the estimates for us.
Is the square footage of the new school about the same as Cranberry? I don't even know.
No, it's much larger.
It's larger, right? Okay.
It's actually the same size of a middle school. Yes.
Significant.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
So we are at committee representative reports. Any committee representatives want to give an update? Mary Ellen?
I'd like to share, we've had the curriculum committee meeting, and this one was unfortunately Rob was not able to be there, but Stacy took over, and it was a discussion of drilling down into portrait of graduate, into the what are we doing to specifically teach critical thinking. And one thing I was so happy that middle school student right here was saying, I'm a critical thinker. I was like, oh, good, he's metacognition. He knows what he's thinking about. But this was pretty exciting to be at, in that it was an interactive presentation. So they said, we're going to teach you how we teach one method, and it's called Q Focus. And what it was is there was, it could be any number of things, but they had something set up for a kindergarten class, and it was a picture, an old picture of, say, in the 1930s, of a playground in New York City. It was, you could definitely tell it was old because there was some hay in the background, being pulled away, and they had kind of a maypole, and it was in black and white. It looks old building. And so the thrust of it is they show the picture, and then they say, okay, kids, you come up with any questions you can. What questions? So the teacher says nothing, but just records the questions, and they have 5-10 minutes to do it. And they, anyone can say it. They record the questions, they number the questions. And with that picture, they were using it as a jumping off to, they were going to build a new playground for those students. And they were, getting them to think about what's in a good school, what's it, what was going on there. And the process of asking those questions is what the critical thinking is. So
It was a very
it was,
detailed, great,
yeah, so it's really good. So that
Thank
was
you.
curriculum, portrait of a graduate.
Anyone else?
Should we just mention that facilities is Yeah. night this month? Yeah, so facilities, our meeting got moved from next Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving, to this Thursday night, the 21st at 6 p.m. And I think there is a lot of interest in the South Norwalk School and what's happening with the power situation there,
Yeah.
solar versus Eversource, SNU, what's happening. So the agenda did come out today. And Alan Lowe will be presenting on the current status of that, and it sounds like, based on what Sandra mentions, it's still a work in progress. So anybody here or in the public is interested, 6 o'clock on Thursday night, and there will also be updates on the new Boracay PTAC and the HVAC projects.
We've got another workshop tomorrow night, right? 6
In the
to 8.
budget town hall tomorrow night.
Budget town hall,
At
and then
Jefferson.
we have our next ad hoc meeting, I think December 4th,
Yes.
right? December 4th. No, but I think it was, if we are having it though, I think what she did by mistake, she put it
Yeah,
in there
duplicate.
twice. I think we are actually, yeah. Yeah.
Could you read it out?
The ad hoc conclusion committee. It's on December 4th.
That's it. All right. Next item is board member announcements. This is a section where any board member can share anything that's coming up of interest, personal, where the public get to know us a little bit more and we get to know each other a little bit more. Announcements? No? I think we're all tired. Okay, and then final on the agenda, we will not be going into executive session this evening. I do need a motion to remove action on termination of a tenured teacher contract from the agenda.
Make motion.
Okay, seconded by Ashley. All in favor to remove?
Aye.
Thank you. And with that, thank you, everybody, for being here. This was a great evening, a lot of information, a lot of pride for our students. And motion to adjourn. 8:14.
Motion.
Tara, seconded by Ashley.